Ciao tutti and welcome to your Cinque Terre supplemental video. We had a great class today. Did a lot. We went down a few rabbit holes. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, don't be. We added quite a bit today, and remember, it's a big buffet and you get to decide the portions and what you want to sample. So for this video, I'm going to go through in more depth and detail what we covered today, as well as the expansion that we went into with directions and things like that. And along the way, I'll be giving you advice as to what you can focus on depending on what your goals are and what level you're at. So if you want to do the basics, if you want to be purely functional for getting around in a vacation, or if you want a little bit of a challenge or a lot of a challenge. So with all that in mind, let's go. So we took a look at Cinque Terre, which is so beautiful, and I really hope I get to go someday. And we had our wonderful review, and you all nailed it with buongiorno, buonasera, and buonanotte. Now, your new question, your nuova domanda, is come stai? How are you? How are you doing? The formal would be come sta. So you hear the difference, stai versus sta. So come stai, come sta. And just with anything, like with anything else, the response has no level of formality. So regardless of how you're being addressed, whether formally or informally, you'd answer sto, I'm doing, or I'm in a state of. You can say bene, fine. Così così is so-so, doing all right, or male, bad. Now, there are a lot of other options you can choose from. You can say you're molto bene or benissimo. You can say quite a bit of vocabulary in response, but these are the basics, and most people, just for politeness' sake and to get around in the world, they just default to bene. Not only that, but just like in English, you can just say bene. So just as in English, if I say, hey, how are you? And you can say, well, I'm doing all right. Or you can just say, fine. You can just answer bene, and that'll get you quite far. So, come stai? Sto bene, or just bene. Sto così così, or just così così, or male, sto male. And remember, you also have this in a more streamlined fashion in your vocabulary video. So after that, I got you up and talking. So we reviewed greetings. Buongiorno, come ti chiami? Mi chiamo, piacere, come stai? Sto bene, sto così così, sto male. And you all nailed it, remembering how to express your nationality. Sono americano or americana for the majority of us. So with sono and then whatever adjective you used, if you want a little bit of a challenge and you'd like to start learning more adjectives, we've got some bonus vocabulary, and you can use that just as you said americano or americana. You could say sono intelligente, sono estroverso. You know, you can say I'm smart, I'm extroverted, or anything like that. And also, now that you know how those function, having used those adjectives, you'll know how to use them if you look them up in a dictionary, and you can expand even further. For now, if you just want to do the basics, get very comfortable with mi chiamo and piacere, especially, and you can add come stai. And now we reviewed those consonant and vowel combinations that change the sounds with our letter G and also our letter G. So I'm going to go over these twice for you, really nice and clear. Ka, chi, che, ko, ku. Again, that's ka, chi, che, ko, ku. And since that's BOGO, we also have the same for the letter G. Ga, G, Je, Go, Gu. Again, that's Ga, G, Je, Go, Gu. All right, so we've got Ka, Chi, Che, Ko, Ku, Ga, Ji, Je, Go, Gu. And what do we do? For in the middle, we've got that Chi, Ji, Che, Je. What do we do if we need to make those sounds into a hard sound? We add an aka, we add an H. So we've got Ki, Ke, Gi, Ge. Again, that's Ki, Ke, Gi, Ge. All right, and from the top, Ka, Chi, Che, Ko, Ku, Ga, Ji, Je, Go, Gu, Ki, Ke, Gi, Ge. And once more for good measure. Ka, Chi, Che, Ko, Ku, Ga, Ji, Je, Go, Gu, Ki, Ke, Gi, Ge. Very nice. All right. So you can use this slide and the repetition for reference. But honestly, the best way to really cement this rule isn't really about learning it in the abstract, although you need that foundation. It's really about just hearing it and seeing it written in a meaningful context over and over and over again. So it takes a long time to cement that. The little excursion, little side, little rabbit hole we went down with Pagliacci today, believe it or not, even though that's complicated, is a really good way to start this. So don't forget, I'll be exploring that more and more clearly in a more planned video. So, but you can keep this for reference. So then we looked at Cinque Terre. So what I'm going to do here is read this out loud so that you can get that practice. So read and listen at the same time. Dov'è Cinque Terre? In Liguria, al nord. Cinque Terre è in Liguria, al nord. Com'è Cinque Terre? We learned a little bit about Cinque Terre, how it's the 5 lands, it's a coastal area, it can be a little difficult to access, there's lots of different ways to go see it, and just that it's beautiful and charming and a lovely vacation spot. Next, we started talking about ways of getting someone's attention, making apologies, all of those things. In my field, we call this is a part of pragmatics, which is how language is actually used on the big picture. And politeness is a big part of this, and that can vary quite a bit from language and culture to culture, as I don't have to tell you all. So the basics of this is you want to have scusa and you want to have scusi. So these are both forms of the verb scusare, to excuse, and we'd use it just like, oh, excuse me, pardon me, to get someone's attention. As I said in class, I would recommend, in this case, just learn the formal, know that the informal exists, but get in the habit of using the formal. Especially with words like these, people are not going to be offended if you're a little too formal with them. But I told you the story of my friend Anna, who said scusa to a very proper little old lady, I think in Florence, and she said scusi. So honestly, thinking of a little old lady going, oh, scusi, it's a really good way for me to remember it. Hopefully that works for you as well. So you've got scusi for getting someone's attention, And you can also use it as a way of saying, oh, pardon me, didn't catch that, to ask people to repeat something. You can, and you'll find this in phrase books, puoi ripetere per favore? Can you repeat that, please? If you're already having to ask people to repeat things and it's a communicative situation, you're trying to buy a train ticket or something like that, honestly, cupping your ear around, cupping your hand around your ear and shrugging and looking a little confused and saying, scusi? That'll do just fine. And I would recommend just getting real handy with scusi, and it's just so much easier than the kind of unwieldy asking someone to repeat. They'll repeat it for you. So there we go, getting someone's attention, saying, oh, pardon me, excuse me. And then we have mi dispiace. So that is I'm sorry. Now you'll notice I put here invece di instead of non mi piace. And this is a little enrichment, is purely for fun. Later on in today's lesson, we talked about expressing likes and dislikes, saying, mi piace nuotare, I like to swim. If you say non mi piace, it's I don't like. But literally speaking, mi dispiace is saying this displeases me. But we use it to mean I'm sorry. If that just made you go, huh? Don't worry about it. It's enrichment. It's interesting. It's just a fun fact. For now, you can just remember that mi dispiace is I'm sorry. So you'd use mi dispiace to express regret or make an apology. You can also use it the way we use, oh, I'm sorry, to express sympathy. Oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. So if you step on somebody's foot, oh, mi dispiace. And if somebody else stepped on their foot, oh, mi dispiace, I'm sorry that they stepped on your foot, my goodness. We threw in perdoname for fun, pardon me, forgive me. It's a little extra, a little dramatic. But I just like how it sounds, perdoname, perdoname. So that is just for fun. You can get it by perfectly well with mi dispiace. And then this one is important, permesso, like permission. And this is for navigating space. So it's excuse me for saying, for squeezing past someone. If you're walking past someone, ask them politely to step out of your way, or if you bump into someone, and for getting around a crowd, permesso. But it's also for entering a space. So you knock on someone's door, they open and say, oh, vieni, come in. You say, oh, permesso, and you come in. And even if you've already been invited, it is polite to still say permesso as you step over the threshold. But it's really saying, may I come in, or may I get around? So permesso is for navigating space. Scusi is more for navigating attention. And then mi dispiace is for repairing mistakes. And I hope that that's a good conceptual way of thinking of them. But if there's an error that learners, myself included, make often enough that there's a Patrick Stewart meme, you know that you're not alone if you say mi dispiace when you mean scusami. One of the lovely things about traveling in Italy is that a little effort goes such a long way. I don't want to make stereotypes about other countries, other languages, but in Italy, a little bit of effort it's really appreciated. And if you mumble out any of these, they'll know what you mean, and they'll think you're very polite and lovely. So don't worry about that too much. All right, so we've added a couple pleasantries. We can say, how are you? And we can navigate space and make apologies and get people's attention. And those I think you will want for your basics. It's very functional to be able to use those to get around. Adding on that, we started asking a new question, cosa c'è? As in, cosa c'è a Cinque Terre? What is there in Cinque Terre? And we can answer c'è, there is, or ci sono, there are. Now, much like the sounds and spelling that we're learning, getting a feel for this in a meaningful context that we're about to do with those other slides that we did in class, it's going to be the best way to get a feel for it, but I'll break it down here. C'è, there is just a contraction of ci and e. So this ci in ci sono is there, not as in over there, but as in there is, there are. And when we attach it to the vowel drops and becomes che. So these are the same word. It's chi in both cases. It's just dropped because of a vowel. The apostrophe is saying, hey, that vowel used to be there. So c'è, there is. Ci sono, there are. E is, sono, are. So I can say, c'è un libro, there's a book. C'è uno studente, there is a student. You could say, ci sono libri, there are books. Ci sono studenti, there are students. C'è, ci sono. And with a rising tone and a slightly helpless look on your face, you can ask people what is available using this without changing the grammar. So, c'è un treno, there is a train. C'è un treno? Is there a train? No grammar change, it's just the tone. So, c'è and ci sono are going to take you really far. C'è and ci sono. And if you want to add cosa c'è, what is there, to those questions, you're welcome to do that. But if you just want c'è and ci sono, that's fine. That works really well. So let's see what that looks like in action. C'è and ci sono. C'è il mare. C'è la spiaggia. Ci sono piazze. C'è la piazza Garibaldi. C'è la piazza Marconi. Una piazza, due piazze. Ci sono piazze. Ci sono ristoranti. Un ristorante. Due ristoranti. Ci sono ristoranti. And what else is there? Cosa c'è a Cinque Terre? Ci sono strade. Una strada, due strade. So there are streets. Strada is a street. Ci sono strade. Ci sono piazze. Una piazza, due piazze. Ci sono bar. Un bar, due bar. And that is a bar or cafe. And a lot of a lot of places are both. A bar by night and a bar by day. Ci sono bar. Ci sono musei. Un museo, due musei. So there are museums. E ci sono alberghi. Un albergo, due alberghi. There are hotels. We asked, perché alberghi, non albergi? And you all nailed it. Why is it alberghi? Why do we have that H there? To maintain that sound. Now, as long as you have c'è and ci sono, you don't have to worry about this singular and plural. I'm showing it to you so that it doesn't blindside you when you see a word that you think you recognize change form. So, if you are just interested in getting around in Italy with the least amount of fuss and the most amount of fun, you can pause it right there and just say, okay, I've got my c'è, I've got my ci sono, and I know not to let it throw me off if I see a word that I think I know and I see these endings. I'll go, okay, I think that was the plural thing. She said something about that. That's absolutely fine. And for a 6-week course, when we only meet once a week, sometimes a lot of the strategies you can have are just what to know to set aside until you can get to them later if you want to pursue Italian further. And this is one of those things. But I can show you the rules for singular and plurals if that's something that you want to learn more of, if you're interested in pursuing that aspect. For the rest of us, just knowing c'è and ci sono and getting, just taking a look at this and saying, okay, I can see that something's going on there. It's absolutely fine. And you all nailed it. So, all right, with that, we went over a little more vocabulary and we started talking about getting around. Come, how? Well, how do you get to Cinque Terre? It's just like how you get to Carnegie Hall. That's how you get to Italian mastery. Practice, practice, practice. So, you can get around in macchina, in barca, in treno, e anche, and also, in aeroplano, in taxi, in gondola, in cavallo, in bicicletta. Ma, but, a piedi. Okay. If you're a piedi, you're going on foot or by foot. In piedi, you are standing. So you're going by foot or you're in your feet. You're standing up. Returning to this, you don't have to worry about this in preposition. That can be something that you're just sort of dimly aware of, but it's not something I expect you to memorize or that's going to get you a lot of bang for your buck. What going through this with these prepositions attached can do is help you practice listening for the key words. The key word in machina is machina. It's car. It's not in. So I mentioned this in class today. We talked about listening for strategically, which of course you'll have to do a lot of when you travel. I can't teach you all the Italian that they're going to throw at you when you ask a question, but if you get practice in listening for the words you know you need, it can streamline that and make that a lot smoother. So when you listen, try to focus on nouns and verbs. And then after that, you can look at adjectives, and everything else is after that. So we've got our nouns: car, boat, train, plane, taxi, gondola, and horse. Oh, and bicycle, right? So let's do that one more time as a listening exercise. So just let the in kind of glide past you and really focus in on those nouns. So in Cinque Terre, you can get around in macchina, in barca, in treno, e anche in aeroplano, in taxi, in gondola, in cavallo, in bicicletta, ma a piedi. In piedi is standing. All right, so hopefully with that second run through, you'd heard me use those words, you're starting to get a feel for the accent, for the spelling, and you're starting to zero in on those nouns. So a little bit of strategy there. Next we discussed how to call a cab, and the answer is just don't. So we talked a little bit about some strategies there, and honestly the situation is always developing. They have apps in Italy, especially in the more touristed areas, now that they didn't even have a year ago, so my information isn't the most up to date. So be sure to look at that and research that before you go. But if you want to get someone, concierge, front desk clerk at a hotel, someone, so anybody who's working and can help you, then here's what I recommend for asking if they can call a taxi for you, and then what you can say to the cabbie when you get there. So let's practice this. Scusi, ma mi può chiamare un taxi, per favore? So once more. Scusi, ma mi può chiamare un taxi, per favore? And one more, even smoother and faster. Scusi, ma mi può chiamare un taxi, per favore? All right, now I'll do it slow again. So it's good to hear it in different ways. Scusi, ma mi può chiamare un taxi, per favore? There you go. And then once you've got your cab, you can say, voglio andare a wherever. Let's say we want to go to the hotel. Voglio andare al albergo. Voglio andare a. So voglio is I want, andare is to go, and then a is to. You want to say we want to go to because you're traveling in a group. You can say vogliamo. Vogliamo andare a. So vogliamo andare all'albergo. So very nice. Now that introduced some trickier sounds, and we'll break those down now. We have that yi sound. It took me quite a while to get yi. Y'all did very well with it. But it's kind of like the y sound in million. So if you finish the l sound and start with a y, million, yi. So that's yi. And if you just said yi, congratulations, you just nailed the most difficult sound in Italian. And aren't you thanking your lucky stars that we're not doing French or German right now, because they have a lot harder sounds that we have to wrestle with. So if you're a little iffy on it and you just want to say ye like that and you don't want to worry about getting the L in there, that's fine. As long as you're not saying glee, you're golden. And honestly, it's easier to get a feel for this sound in the middle of words rather than by itself. By itself it can be a little tricky, and it's just kind of easier to get those sounds feeling natural when they're part of a whole word. So practice them that way with words like voglio, vogliamo, and we will look at some others. Then we had she, she. So just like these would be chi and che by themselves, if you add an esse to the beginning, it softens that soft sound even more. She, she. And finally we have gna, as in lasagna, gnocchi, all kinds of good stuff. So this is the equivalent of an N with a tilde on it in Spanish, if that's something you're familiar with. But we all know this gna sound from lasagna, and honestly it's just so much fun to say gna, gna. I sound like my cat. So this wraps up the most difficult part of the pronunciation. We have yi, she, she, and nya. And again, isolated, they're more tricky than they are in context. So let's look at some context. We just saw voglio, voglio, and vogliamo, vogliamo. And we added tagliatelle, tagliatelle. This is a really, if you want a really good keyword to practice this sound, get yourself some tagliatelle. I find it just easier to pronounce because you say tall, tal, and then yatelle. So if you can finish the l and then do the ya, and you just smush them together. Tagliatelle. Tagliatelle, tagliatelle. And then you can impress your date at the restaurant when you order tagliatelle. And then we got into pagliacci, and that got us off on a whole rabbit hole. So pagliacci is another good one, pagliacci. And you'll notice with the double C, there's a little more cha sound. That's a nicety of pronunciation that you'll begin to get with exposure, but you just, anytime there's a double consonant, you just give it a little more oomph. And so pagliacci means clowns, and it's the name of an opera. So we listened to the lovely rendition of Pavarotti singing a very famous aria from that opera. But I included it as a cue here because you may not be familiar with opera. You may. But a lot of us really adore the song Tears of a Clown, and so you'll remember the lyric, just like Pagliacci did, I try to keep my sadness hid. So you always learn best what you already know, and if you already know that song, you've got Pagliacci, which means you have this sound, you have it. But if you don't know that song, or if you want to stick to tagliatelle, that's good too. The bottom line is, it's not too tricky. But I think I've given you some good good cues here, and it's always more useful and easier to ease in with material that you already have some background familiarity with in the form of a whole word rather than an isolated, meaningless sound. And it's something like the lia in million. So if you can say million, and I know you can say tagliatelle. All right. So, if pronunciation is a goal, you've got plenty to work on today and this week. If you want to get around, you've got a few ways of navigating social situations, and you've added a couple new questions where you can either ask somebody how they're doing, you can ask for information. And at this point, if all you wanted to do was kick back and practice that for a week, that's a lot. That's plenty. If you want to add a little more conversation, which is something all these students have requested in the past, we can start talking about things we like and dislike and asking each other some questions, make a little small talk. So let me show you how that works. Mi piace leggere. Mi piace fare foto. Mi piace nuotare. So, mi piace, we say I like, but if you have some Spanish, this is me gusta. So if you know how me gusta works, you are golden. Now for the rest of us, you just say mi piace, and then these, leggere, nuotare, the word fare, and then photos attached to it, those are just verb infinitives. Leggere, to read, as in legible. Nuotare, to swim. Fare is to do or to make. In this case, fare foto, you do photos, you do photography. So, if you want to express that you enjoy doing something, congratulations, you just say mi piace, and then you can look up any verb infinitive. You can look one up in the dictionary, or we have quite a few to choose from in the vocabulary. So you can try that out. You can also say mi piace, and then use any of the sports activities that we learned in week 1 as our bonus. So you could say, mi piace il calcio. I like soccer. Mi piace il calcio. Or you could say, mi piace giocare calcio. I like to play soccer. So, if you want a little bit of a challenge on top of what we've done, you can get yourself a mi piace or two. Pick out a couple verbs or activities and just make them your own. You can say mi piace leggere, mi piace mangiare, whatever, and be able to just trot those out. And if you really want a challenge, you can add to that by learning more verbs and just adding to the vocabulary of it. But even if you don't really want too much of a challenge, let's still go over these because this is really good practice for just making the connection between the sounds and the letters. So, and of course you can always return to this video if you want to go back and add this later. So let me read this again. Mi piace leggere, mi piace fare foto, e mi piace nuotare. All right, so I'm going to go through this blue box down here. I'm just going to say that I enjoy all these things, so you get a little repetition. Let's get our reps in. Mi piace nuotare. Mi piace camminare. Mi piace fare foto. Mi piace sciare. Mi piace mangiare. That's my favorite. Mi piace ballare. Of course, I love that too. Mi piace fare sport. Mi piace fare ginnastica. Mi piace guardare. Mi piace fare una passeggiata. And again, mi piace leggere. So you can look up any verb either on our vocabulary list, or you can look one up in the dictionary and just plug it right into mi piace, and then mi piace, verb infinitive. Later on, in a couple weeks, we're going to start making longer sentences But if you want to try that out now, you can say something like, mi piace guardare, and then, well, what do you like to watch? La TV, maybe? Mi piace guardare il football americano, so you like to watch the football. You can start adding things if you like, but it's perfectly fine to just, you know what, I'm going to say leggere is my word, and I'm sticking to it. So what does that look like in conversation? Well, you could say, mi piace leggere. Ti piace leggere? And you're just saying, I like to read. Do you like to read? Ti piace leggere? A lot of different ways you could answer that. Sì, mi piace leggere. Or, sì, mi piace molto. Or, no, non mi piace. Or, no, non mi piace leggere. You'll notice that the title of this activity was Cosa ti piace fare? What do you like to do? You can certainly add that. But for now, if you can just say mi piace whatever, you can even just add mi piace. You say you're out to eat in Florence, you have something that really, really rocks. Waiter comes by, you can just point and say, mi piace, and they go, hey, that's great. So you can build as much or as little as you like. And now we worked on our bonus materials. Now in the past, the asking and giving directions, it has gone from the main part of the course to bonus and as we say, vice versa. Today you all showed interest in it, so we did a little activity with it. I'm going to go through strategies because the meanings of all of these I already went through on the vocabulary video. So do check that out if you want to get more comfortable with these. So with our listening strategies, and this is going to be an important one, if you ask directions from someone, you are going to want to be able to pick out the keywords because they're going to throw a lot of Italian at you, and probably a lot of hand gestures. So if you hear a destra, you want to focus on destra. If you hear something like prenda, blah, 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 you want to hear, oh, prenda, I have to take, and then you want to be listening for a word like destra, sinistra, or the name of a street. They might even say prenda l'autobus, prendo un taxi, and it's going to come at you pretty fast, so you might have to trot out your scusi. So we're already juggling lots of pieces that we've learned. That's overwhelming. Work on those pieces individually until they feel really comfortable, and then start thinking about ways you might have to put them together. If you anticipate it, okay, they're going to ask me this, or they're going to say this, you can start to get a feel for it. But for now, you can learn this vocab and start to anticipate those key words. So the key word in davanti a is the davanti. This preposition a, you can just set it aside for now. Now, hopefully you won't have to rely on this too much because of things like Google Maps, again, very much like calling a taxi. This is something that every year technology makes this part of your trip and my job a little bit easier so we can focus more on the fun stuff. But it is important to have these practicalities because that's not always available everywhere and to everyone. So you don't want to get stranded somewhere and not have this idea. So we did a little practice and you all nailed it. That can be a really good way to practice this. Rather than thinking, okay, I've got all this vocabulary, but I can't anticipate necessarily what they're going to say, because if I knew that, I'd already know how to get there. But we took our little map and we said, okay, we narrated to ourselves. Okay, go this way, take a right, take a left, and you can just look at a map if this is something that you want to focus on and just narrate to yourself, okay, how would I explain in the simplest terms how to get from point A to point B? And that can be a really helpful way if this is a goal for you to work on that. But because this is a question that has a huge variety of answers, right? Some questions we ask, there's going to be a pretty narrow selection of things that you're going to get in response. Directions, as important as they can be, are one of those ones where there's a lot that they might throw at you. So to supplement this, for those of you who want to learn this skill to whatever degree. I'm going to look up on the web. I'm going to try to find some other videos, hopefully from some native speakers to help you out there. But even if it's not something that you really want to focus on, it can also be good vocabulary just to have in the mix if that's something you like. So finally, for this week, I have some bonus phrases, and these are with the verb andare, to go. The reason I put this in bonus is because the verb andare, super irregular. And that just means that its forms are kind of all over the place. But let's look at some phrases. You say, dove vai? Where are you going? Dove is where, don't forget. Dove andate? Where are y'all going? And the response, vado a, I'm going to, or andiamo a, we're going to. So see how irregular it is? The difference between the we form and the I form, they don't look anything alike. Same thing with the you form and the y'all form, the you plural. So vai, andate, where's that coming from? Don't sweat that too much. And of course you can just grab one of these phrases and say, you know what, I'm just going to learn one of these. Or maybe you want to learn 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe you want to learn the verb andare. But again, that's more for bonus. I've got a video that I'm going to post thanks to Terry. She's retired now. What are we going to do without her? She has a pronunciation challenge you all can take for the ka-cha difference. It's quite a challenge. But I'll be sure to post that. I've got some resources. These I've already put up on our YouTube channel. So I've got links from around YouTube, not just videos I've created, but some other ones, and there's a video on nouns to help you. So that singular, plural stuff that we did before, if that's something you want to pursue, awesome. Got some resources for you there. And oh goodness, and here are some other, for giving directions. So I'll post these for giving directions. We talked about learning with music. We got a little sidetracked with Pagliacci. I actually don't want to necessarily do this song this week, but it is in our playlist because I want to make a separate video on the method to really streamline that and make it so it's not like this big wall of text. Pagliacci today was really for fun. Now, this is for the super bonus extra insanity workout. If you are raring to go, if you say that wasn't enough Italian, that wasn't enough, I need more. I'm going to show you a little bit on that singular and plural formation in nouns. But again, this is if you just can't get enough, and none of what we've done was sufficient. So let's take a look. Here we have il sostantivo singolare, which is, sostantivo is a noun, so singular nouns. Nouns can be either masculine or feminine in Italian, just like in Spanish or in French. Grammatical gender can be something that throws people off because they think, oh, well, what's masculine about a restaurant or feminine about a street? Like, that makes no sense. And you're right, it doesn't make sense because it's not gender as we think of it for people. It's a very outdated term for what linguists now call noun class. So it's just groups of nouns that follow patterns, and those patterns only have to do with sound. It has nothing to do with any sort of esoteric qualities of a restaurant or a piazza or a pizza. So don't sweat that. Don't look for meaning there, because it isn't there. Grammar isn't real. It's frustrating, but it's not real. So don't sweat that. But if you think about it the way you might remember from your high school Spanish or French, you had first, second, third verbs. You say, okay, well, these verbs, they follow this pattern, these verbs follow this pattern, and you knew it was by sound because they had endings that oh, okay, I see that. It's the same thing here. So don't let that term throw you. With that in mind, we have ristorante, museo. We also have a couple new words that aren't officially part of our vocab, but we have ponte, which is bridge, and fiume, which is river. So you notice museo ends in O. I'm going to be spelling in Italian. So this is an E and this is an O, right? Most nouns that end in O are masculine. Over here we have feminine nouns. Strada, piazza, pizza. We know those words. If it ends in A, it's usually feminine. But these words that end in E, ristorante, ponte, fiume, we've got masculine ones here, but sometimes, but some words that end in A are feminine. You cannot tell by looking at the word whether a word that ends in E is masculine or feminine. You just have to know the word. Now, if you are starting to think, maybe this insanity workout wasn't such a great idea, I can still give you some levels to this if it's something you want to just start. Any word that ends in E, ristorante, ponte, fiume, I wish I had some examples for feminine on the side, I'm sorry. Whether they're masculine or feminine, will become E in the plural. So you don't necessarily need to know if it's masculine or feminine, because the plural formation is going to be the same. So let's look at what that looks like. Actually I don't have that yet. Sorry, these bonuses are less, they're a little bit of a catch-all, so they're a little less organized than my regular lesson, so I apologize. So just know that the formation is going to be the same. So let's take a look at that in a chart. So if it ends in O, it's probably masculine. If it ends in A, it's probably feminine. And about half the ones that end in E are masculine, half the ones that end in A are feminine. But there are eccezioni, exceptions, aren't there always? Words that end in ma, tema, which is theme, problema, well, we don't need to know. You probably know what that one is. Panorama, but also words like fantasma, ooh, fantasma, ghost. Those are masculine. They come from Greek. They were borrowed from Greek, so they keep Greek rules. Who knew? Most words that end in ione are going to be feminine. Stazione, regione, istruzione. So station, region, instruction. Those are going to be feminine. If your head is spinning, set this aside. If you still want to learn about masculine versus feminine, but maybe these rules are a little for you right now, what I recommend is when you learn your vocabulary, and we had words like il, la, le, all those are your definite articles. Learn those as part of the word. So for example, I don't have the example here. So it would be il ristorante, il museo, il ponte, il fiume, la strada, la piazza, la pizza. Just put that il or that la or whatever else appears before them on your flashcard, and what you can do is just memorize that as part of the word. Don't sweat whether it's masculine or feminine. Don't sweat what that means. And then when you do get to that, you'll actually already have it. So a lot of strategies involved in Italian for travelers. It's a very strategy heavy class. We have e queste, these, foto, cinema, bici. These are just for fun. And also auto. Those are actually abbreviations. So foto is actually feminine. It's short for la fotografia. It's feminine. Cinema is short for il cinematografo. So it's masculine. And bici is short for la bicicletta. But people just say la bici. So la foto, il cinema, la bici. And they're short for that. That's really just kind of for fun. But here's a good example. La fotografia, or il cinematografo, or la bicicletta. If you have this la or this il, and there are a few variants of that in front of it on your flashcards, you can just absorb it as part of the word. Don't sweat what it's doing or what it means. And then when you do start to get more comfortable with this aspect of the grammar, you'll already know those words without even realizing that you knew whether they're masculine or feminine. Oh, and auto is L'automobile, that's feminine. Okay. I am going to breeze past this because this is super, super, super bonus. But I'm just going to give it to you as a chance to listen and match if that's something you'd like to just do a little listening exercise. We have una regione is a region, una capitale is a capital, uno stato is a state, una repubblica is a republic, un vulcano is a volcano, una città is a city, and una nazione is a nation. So a lot of cognates here. That's especially nice for these vocab terms. So I'm just going to read that to you if you want a little more listening practice. Una regione, una capitale, uno stato, una repubblica, un vulcano, una città, una nazione. Anything after mi piace is already bonus, and within that there's quite a few ways that you can engage. I know today was a lot, and so just remember you can take this as far as you like. It's a buffet, so dig in. I'll see you next time. Ciao.